He's a bum.
What? Yo, that's a Hall of Fame terrible take right there.
No, it's not. It's true. It's so true.
What?
Boy just choked. Straight women booty and let the ball go.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
LeBron James
puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Irving and Curry. One-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get to explaining and debating in a second. What is up, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Joseph, 3 and a possible.
We need to update the intro. And it should be like, we should take that Miami Heat part out, and it should be like a Sports Center, the breaking news when Damian Lillard got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks and not the Miami Heat. Throw that bitch in there.
You thought that was gonna hit.
No, I was dead ass serious. It would hit. It's gonna hit when I edit it. It's gonna hit.
Yeah, all right. I'm the one that has to upload it and then actually make it the intro.
True.
So we'll see
how
how that
Stephen
goes.
A. voice in it and everything. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
All right. Well, we got some stuff to get to from around the league. We got the Dillon Brooks scuffle with DeRozan. We got Brandon Ingram injuring his knee. Are the Clippers regressing? Can the Rockets make it into the play-in? Talk a little March Madness. You know, it is that time of year. Some sad-ish news for the G League team, for the prospects for the NBA draft. Getting kaput. So let's talk about that. Top 5. It's about that time. Hey, less than a month away. Away. Money time.
40 games and 40 nights. I can't wait.
Beautiful time of year.
Who needs Lent when you got NBA playoffs? Just saying.
I'm not going to be the one to co-sign that and go straight to hell, but hey, I'm with you, Joe.
I understand he ain't been in basketball.
Facts. All right. Let's talk about the Dillon Brooks and DeMar DeRozan scuffle. You know, we said it's about that time, Joe. We're less than a month away. There's also about that time that Dillon Brooks starts inserting himself into bullshit that is kind of above his pay grade. But I want your take on this one. So the quick backstory. Don't have the video. Should have pulled that. That's on me. But basically, there was a screen. DeRozan kind of fired off, trying to hedge the screen, and just really didn't stop until he ran through the ball handler, which then prompted Dillon Brooks to get in DeMar DeRozan's face, who then was not going to just let him walk up on him without doing anything. So what ended up kind of being a net win for the Rockets, right? Dillon Brooks gets ejected, but DeRozan gets ejected for the Bulls about halfway through the game. So, you know, maybe a chess move by Dillon Brooks there. But nonetheless, what's your reaction to the whole scuffle here with Dillon Brooks?
I mean, to be honest, I'm going to take it to a whole different route. I'm going to look retrospectively, take a step out of it and see whatever. If you look at it, I follow Tom Haberstroh. You can follow him. It's a subscription, but he does a lot of analytics, and you can look at it. He just did an article on this. If you look at after the All-Star game, it's an obvious sign that the NBA has loosened up on the foul calls, and there's way more defense. But with that being said, now players without that foul calls, they got to handle their business like they used to, like we like to see in the 90s and the 80s. If you're not going to call the fouls, now there's going to be more altercations on the court because they're not calling these fouls that these players are used to getting called. So now the players feel like they got to tussle and fake wolf and puff and stuff like that. So that's what my thing is, because obviously you can even just look at the box scores and see defense is up and they're not calling as many fouls anymore, which I love. But the NBA has to recognize that at the same time, there's going to be more player altercations because you're allowing more pushing and shoving, and these games matter.
As we're getting right to like the playoffs.
Right to the playoffs. The Rockets are on a 9-game win streak. They 2 games back in the play-in game. Everybody say they're not a good team, but Ime Udoka trying to make the playoffs. I don't care what anybody say. He's going to sit there and try to make the playoffs. They got a good team. They've been playing good, solid defense this year. Jalen Green has been balling ever since they Sagoon got injured. So if he something about him just sparked. If they keep playing like this, they could push away and Golden State or the Lakers. They better be worried. They better take every game serious. So I just think this is a situation where obviously the Bulls are trying to make it too. Everybody thought they were just going to fall off after the trade deadline, but they trying to make the playoffs too. They outside, but they still trying. They competitive.
Let's level set a little bit. Both the Bulls and the Rockets have losing records. Okay, like just.
But they can still make the playing game. I'm not saying that.
I'm not talking about. I'm just saying. Let's level set. These are.
I'm just saying
that are, like you said, fighting.
A playing game is an extra check.
Right. No, hear me. They're fighting for a playing game, right? There's the now loosening up of the rules all of a sudden, which I'm assuming was probably not communicated to the players. They just had to kind of learn this on the fly, right? Exactly. So that's a mix for Tempers of Flair. On top of they are both losing teams, so they have not had the seasons that they wanted. That's a recipe for a little scuffle. In this scenario, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually team Dillon Brooks here. For sure. I don't know what the hell DeRozan was doing. I wasn't like watching this game.
He's pissed off that he's still in Chicago.
I mean, I don't know why he took it out on whoever it was, Fred VanVleet or no, Jalen Green. Like I don't know why he took it out on Jalen Green. He just like truck sticked him for like no reason. Like what are we?
That's Michael Jackson. That's why. That's MJ. I'm telling you, he looked just like Michael Jackson, so he thought he could punk him.
So in this scenario, I'm actually good with Dillon Brooks standing up for his teammate. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning, it was a net positive for the Rockets, right? Like, yeah, they don't want to lose Dillon Brooks. He's an important role player for them. But the Bulls lost a lot more when they lost DeRozan, who are already playing without Levine, right? So like that was a net win for the Rockets. The Rockets did end up winning that game. But I mean, I don't really know, like, why was DeRozan then? It seemed like he was like surprised, like, oh, I don't play that. Someone just running up on me for no reason. I mean, there was a reason.
Did it?
like this wasn't just like out of the blue. There was a valid reason for him to run up on you like that and get in his face. So we talked about this just the other day when we were talking about the Lakers, right? The Lakers could use somebody that would run up on somebody every time they hit somebody, hit AD or LeBron a little too hard, right? Like they could use somebody stand. So at least that shows that Dillon Brooks, for all of his antics, he is there for his teammates. So I'm gonna call that a win for Dillon Brooks.
Dwight Howard's out there, acquitted of all charges. Lakers, booty bandit, come get you. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with Dwight Howard. Just saying. The last time the Lakers beat the Nuggets, who was D'ing up Jokic? The booty pincher. I'm just saying. Get Dwight Howard in here. Just saying.
Come here.
Right? Hey, Jokic, all. That's why. I'm done.
You gonna feel me, huh?
Hell no.
Okay. We're gonna move on to a former Laker, Brandon Ingram. We got a knee contusion, I think is the official diagnosis. They're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. Obviously, a key piece for the Pelicans, who have been playing well. We won't talk about the game that they played last night because I thoroughly did not enjoy it. But they're playing good basketball, and they had a tough loss to the Magic, and then it was even worse because Brandon Ingram went out in that game with a knee injury. But I think when everyone saw it happening live, I don't know if you were watching this game. I was watching it. I was like, oh no. That looked like a non-contact type torn ACL or MCL. I mean, it's something. It looked like he tore something. If it's just a bone contusion, that's not bad. That's not bad. So, all things considered, how do you feel about the Pelicans as they kind of try and navigate this injury moving forward as they try and get positioned for seeding? They are currently, I believe, a game and a half behind the Clippers for the 4 seed.
I think it's a great opportunity to say, okay, everybody's been saying they made fun of Zion at the first half of the season. All reports are he lost 25 pounds in the season. If that's the case, guess what? We finna test your endurance because now we need you. Because I'm going to be quite honest, Brandon Ingram is that go-to. We need a bucket. Brandon Ingram's that guy.
Pure shot creator.
CJ McCollum is taking a step back. He's still a good compliment.
Hey, you know what, though? I was worried about that, Joe. But last night, CJ McCollum was
he's
able
number
to
2.
elevate his game. Yeah, like that. I'm saying that's a good sign for them when
because they can rest Brandon Ingram. Absolutely. Yep. But what I'm going to be concerned of is the playoff, because I think CJ McCollum, obviously he has to take a step back because Zion has the ball in his hands more. He's the shot creator, I guess, the main ball handler, point guard, de facto point guard. So that takes away a little bit from CJ McCollum. But if CJ McCollum, like you said, can do what he did last night, and he can put up buckets like that, they'll be fine. But they need Brandon Ingram, because without Brandon Ingram, he's that guy like Giannis had Chris Middleton when they went on that run in 2019. They needed that person in the fourth quarter to get them that bucket when they needed it. Brandon Ingram's going to be that guy. And if he can do that, we know Brandon Ingram can go on a tear. He can go lights out and just score buckets. And that's what they need him for. So if he can sit and rest and they don't fall too much, that's going to be the biggest issue. But if CJ McCollum can keep doing what he did like he did last night, then they'll be fine and they can rest him, because they need Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, because they are up 2 games on both the Mavericks and the Suns. So they don't have a huge cushion. They got a little cushion. And if it's only 2 weeks and he can come back after the 2 weeks, then they should be fine. But I was very impressed with the Pelicans last night in their first game without Brandon Ingram. CJ McCollum pretty seamlessly stepped into that kind of secondary scorer. And honestly, the Heat did a really good job on Zion. Like, Zion was not overly impactful. You could tell it was a game plan. Like, okay, yeah, let's see all these other people beat us.
But that's the thing. That's a bad matchup for Miami. Because, okay, take away Zion with Bam. Okay, I'm just going to give it to Valanciunas in the paint, and he's going to eat you up or get rebounds. Because you guys just don't have enough big men for that. Like, the Pelicans are a matchup problem for a lot of teams.
Down Kevin Love, no Kevin
exactly.
Love.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Third big, that hurt. When it was just Bam and Jovic and they were both playing, I think it was fine. The real issue for the Heat last night was no Duncan Robinson, no Tyler Hero.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't have the shooting, so the offense was just really bad. The offense was
especially no Duncan Robinson. Like, you can't even stretch Valanciunas just in the paint all day. Like, I don't have to go guard nobody. I don't have to stretch it or nothing. Yeah.
Your 2 best shooters not being there. Yeah, he was living in the lane, making it hard for everybody else. But again, like you said, they're a tough matchup like that for a lot of people, and it's because of Zion. Like, Zion's kind of position flexibility really can put teams in a bind, and I think they're going to be fine. We mentioned they're a game and a half behind the Clippers, so let's talk about the Clippers. Joe, I got beef. I got beef with the Clippers. The moment I start giving them a little fucking credit, they start looking like the goddamn Clippers again. James Harden's trying to block his own teammate's shot. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and all of their losses are against the teams that are just not really that fantastic. Like, great job, Paul George. You dropped like 30 to eke out a win against Portland last night. But like, can you do that when you're playing a team like the Suns or the Timberwolves without fucking Cat? Like, anyways, I digress.
Is Russell Westbrook the key? Because they haven't been good since he's been hurt. Maybe he's that motor that keeps those guys focused. Because we know Paul George and James Harden cannot be focused when they're not the number 1 option. James Harden cannot be focused any day. But Paul George cannot be focused when he's not the number 1 option. Kawhi going to be Kawhi. But I know Kawhi's
starting to get some more aches and pains now.
He got that I think Kawhi has that temperament where if somebody around him not thriving him and pushing him, he like, dog, I done did it. Like, I'm Kawhi, bro. Like, I'm here, I'm grooving. This is just this.
I think that's the thing that's always been kind of a critique of Kawhi, and sometimes even like Kevin Durant. Like, they're just not going to be the guy that like gets on somebody, right? Like, it might not affect their game. Like, if someone else is on bullshit, it's not going to affect them. Like, they're going to still do their thing and get their buckets and play defense, do all the things they're really great at. But they're not the type of person that's going to get in somebody's face. No, yeah, Russell get right in your face and tell you about yourself, which you need people like that, and it always helps when they've got a pedigree like Russell Westbrook does. He's like, I'm an MVP. I'm an MVP. I took a bench roll. I did all this. Like, you can't sacrifice a little fucking defense.
Exactly. Like, I'm playing 25 minutes a game, and I'm a former 2-time MVP.
I can still average a triple-double if I wanted to, right? Like, I think whether he could or couldn't, Russ believes he could. And he's
Mhm.
and in his mind, he's not even trying to. He's trying to do the team. He's taking the team first approach. And now that I think you're right. Like now that he's been gone, they could kind of sustain for a little bit because like they still kind of were going on that flow. But
Mhm.
once they hit a little adversity without Russ there,
They're like, fuck it. We're still in a good seed position.
well,
Let's
and
make it.
and the other part, Joe, is they kind of alienated the one other person on their team that's got a similar mentality like
PJ
that,
Tucker.
PJ Tucker. They alienated him. He doesn't want to be there. He's only there because of the James Harden trade, and he might get 15 minutes one night, 2 minutes the next night, or not even play. He's the only other person. But I mean, shit, I wouldn't be doing all that too if they feel like I'm not worthy for the team. But okay, you don't need me. Okay.
Bet.
We'll figure this shit
And
out.
I'm not taking the buyout either, motherfucker. I'm gonna sit here and collect my money.
Right. So I think you're spot on, Joe. I don't know can you call it regressing? I don't know. It's just it's a matter of how important Russ is to that team, who
The
I think is
mentality.
supposed to come back. I think he's supposed to come back this week. At least they're going to give it a go. So maybe that'll get them right. But this was not what I wanted to see from them as they were approaching the playoffs. Not what I was looking to see from them. And
Are you surprised the Clippers gonna clip?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just mad
The
because I put them
Knickerbockers
in my
gonna
fucking.
nick.
I put them in my goddamn top 5 like 3 straight times now. Now they want to start acting different now that we start getting close to playoff time. So I should have known better. I should have known better. Should have known better. But let's talk about a team that's doing the right things, trying to get in. We mentioned them a little bit earlier, talking about Dillon Brooks, but the Rockets, like you said, they have been on fire. They've won 7 in a row and 9 of their last 10. So they're on fire. They are only 2 games behind the Warriors for that final play-in spot. They are 3.5 behind the Lakers. So talk to me about the Rockets. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Can they get all the way there? Do you think they'll take it from the Warriors? The Warriors are 4-6 in their last 10, so they're also not playing particularly well. So what's your thoughts on the Rockets? Can Ime and team get them into the playoffs?
I think so. The Lakers have the Pacers twice, the Nets, and the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that's their next 4 or 5 games. They could easily lose 2 or 3 of those games. The Rockets got an easy schedule coming up. And the way they're playing and on the run that they're on, they could easily keep it going and push the Golden State Warriors or the Lakers. Golden State hasn't been playing well. I think that this could easily be a situation where the Lakers or the Warriors could fall out of the playoffs and the Rockets could push up in there. The way they're playing defense, you got to give them credit. They're playing excellent defense from where they were compared to last year. They're a top 15 defense in the league compared to where they were last year.
Yeah,
Jalen Green is taking a huge step. Yeah, Jalen Green's taking a huge step with once Sengun got hurt. He's been able to put up those points. I like their team a lot. I think if Sengun was there, or Sengun, however you say his name, was there, they'd be even more dangerous. But I think Jalen Green, something about his confidence, sometimes it take a while, and then once that click, it's on. And I think Ime Udoka is still that confidence in him. I like the Rockets a lot. Like, if they miss the playoffs next year, they won't. I can tell you that. They may be in a play-in, but they're not going to miss the playoffs next year. I like that team this much. I think they really could catch the Warriors because, I mean, they're not good. I don't care what nobody say. Like, yeah, you got that what's the Penzinski or whatever his name is. He's playing well. And Klay Thompson just had a good game the other night when they put him back in the starting lineup. Oh, that's good and nice and stuff, but you can watch the Warriors and tell they're not a playoff team. Like, if Steph wasn't on that team,
yeah,
maybe 23 wins. Like, they are not good. They really aren't.
I think my issue with the Warriors is they just seem like a team with an identity crisis right now. They don't know who they even want to be. There's some teams that might struggle throughout the year, but they know
they figure it out
who they want to be, and they're more trying to mix and find what combinations of players gets them to that identity, right? I feel like the Rockets were kind of a team kind of like that, right? Like, Ime knew who he wanted that team to be. He just had a bunch of players that had never really won before, for the most part, outside of really Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks, right? Like, So he was trying to mold them on this path, and I feel like it feels like he's gotten them to that path.
But what he did, he was smart. He took a whole bunch of individual basketball players and surrounded them with team basketball players.
Correct. So that's why the Dillon Brooks and the Fred VanVleet acquisitions in the offseason were, even though they're not the best players on that team per se, you needed guys that have just kind of been through some shit, been to the playoffs, had ups, had downs, like
they can take any role.
Yeah,
they don't care. They've been there, done
understand, that. Like Fred can be like, hey, look, I was, I can't remember if he was a second-round pick or undrafted.
He was 6th man of the year at one point.
Yeah, and like when they won that title in Toronto, right? Like he played a massive role, but he was not the top guy. He was, Kawhi was on that team. Lowry was still on that team. Siakam was coming into his own. Like he had to kind of fit in where he got in, and he can kind of teach some of
the
these
only time
guys,
that man ever made 3-point shots in the clutch.
Right.
Jesus.
He had his child and then just couldn't miss. That was crazy. So that's kind of the difference to me. Like the Rockets are not as good as the Warriors. They're not as there's no Steph Curry on that team, right? I expect the Warriors to hold on to it. I don't think the Rockets will quite be able to push into the play-in game.
But
I mean, I would say they could. I think they could. I wouldn't predict that they will. But you're right. It's solely because of Steph. Like I just think Steph's going to have enough Steph games to get them home and get them into the play-in, and then I expect them to probably lose to the Lakers in that game, and then hopefully blow the team up to try and save Steph's last few years of being truly, truly who Steph is.
Just jump ship to the Lakers in the offseason. It's all good.
And here's the thing about that, Joe. Like,
he's gonna be ass. He's gonna be ass, and it's not gonna work out.
I don't know. It might work out really well. Everyone's like viewing it as it's like, oh my god, but you got to keep you don't have to keep the core together. It's okay.
Please
it might be the best thing for both parties if they just part ways at this point. Like,
when was the last superstar that stayed with one team the whole time? The Celtics? I mean, yeah,
Kobe.
Larry Bird and Magic. Like seriously,
Kobe,
yeah, and he barely stayed. His ass was almost gone.
Yeah, he was close to asking for a trade midway through, right? The thing is, like,
he told Jerry West that he was willing to go to the Memphis Grizzlies, and Jerry West said no. Jerry West said no, stay in LA.
Here's the thing with Klay, right? Klay is living in the shadow of himself in Golden State. To someone else, the current Klay Thompson is a really good player. He's still
he's balling still.
If you look at his shooting percentages, right? Like they're not bad. They're just not Klay from like the prime Steph Klay era.
Oh, he's shooting 36% instead of 38%. Like, oh my god!
At one point, he was shooting 38% instead of like his career
41. Yeah,
it's okay. How many teams would take a 38% high volume 3-point shooter? 29 other teams, right? Every team would take that. It's just, again, when he's there, he's trying to live up to this height that he had previously. And on top of that, the team is struggling. It's not like the team is picking up the missing slack there. Mm-hmm. So he's receiving a lot of blame, even though he's actually playing his role pretty well. It's just not as well as he used to.
They should be blaming Steve Kerr for not putting enough talent around his Asian stars to make them still look good as they age. That's the real problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm blanking on his name, old buddy that's now working for ESPN.
Oh, hold on. Ooh. That should make my hate. Bro, he did an ESPN game the other day, and I'm so mad. How the fuck do you go to your first year ever broadcasting? You haven't even been on the job for 6 months, and you get an ESPN game. It was the second game, but still, you're on ESPN doing play-by-play. And he wasn't good. He wasn't saying shit. With Iron Eagle. Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
Remember, they shipped their lineup because of Doc Rivers leaving. Like, Doc Rivers was supposed to be there. No, I'm with you.
I don't care.
There's other people that have been there longer that have been doing the work that they could have.
That's ridiculous. And they put him on the Golden State Warriors game, and he was trash. All he did was talk about the development of the Golden State Warriors. He didn't talk one thing about the game.
I would have got Mark Jackson back in there.
I remember when Steph did this 7 years ago. I don't give a fuck, bro. Tell me about the game. I'm tired of this shit, bro. All these people, he don't have the credentials or the experience to be in that position. Shannon Sharp worked for 20 years in the media just to finally get some shine.
People think doing color commentary to a game is just easy because you don't actually have to be the person that talks. But like, no, like that's actually hard. You have to fill all of the dead hair time.
Yeah,
like, that's not an easy
and
job.
You got to know when to talk and when not to talk. Sometimes it's good not to say something. Sometimes you need to say something.
Yeah, sometimes you just let the game ride, right? If it's like a high leverage moment, you just kind of let it ride. And also, you have to toe the balance of being informative, but not like too like you can't go into like a JJ Redick and LeBron James analysis of a play where you're like detailing things that 90% of your audience doesn't understand.
But also, Steph Curry's 35. I don't want you to tell me about when Steph first came in the league, he wasn't very good at finishing at the lane, but his development was that good. Like, man, that was 12 years ago. Shut up.
Right. First of all, we don't need you to pat yourself on the back on this podcast.
Exactly. Tell me about the game that you're watching. Tell me how they suck right now. Tell me that.
You know what game I'm watching right now, Joe? Arizona played Dayton. 8-10 represent.
What's the score? I got Arizona winning.
Yeah, Arizona's up 40-28 with about a minute left.
STL Caleb Love went to CBC. Shout out.
Could have done the last part.
CBC part.
Yeah. But yeah,
I picked them to go to the Final Four.
I got Arizona by 4 as part of a parlay, so I do need them to win, even though I would like to see A10 get some more money. But
you was the person that called JB Bickerstaff phone, wasn't you? That was you, wasn't it? You didn't see that? You didn't see that? That was you, wasn't it?
I don't even know what you're talking about, which is crazy.
JB Bickerstaff said people found his personal cell phone number and been calling him gamblers. He said he'll be up by 11 and he'll hear people in the stands talking about leave the starters in. Leave the starters in. The over-under is 11 and a half. It's ridiculous. Getting out of hand.
But let's talk about March Madness. It 'tis the season. We've already had a bunch of upsets. RAP to your bracket. Thanks a lot, Kentucky. Sorry, too soon?
No, it's fine because I'm going to go off on Kentucky on this segment right here. Go ahead.
So what I want to know is March Madness actually a good test? We've seen players that have a great March that end up getting drafted very, very highly in the NBA draft. Like I can't believe I'm blanking on his name because he was a Heedle because LeBron loved him so much. The point guard
for UConn, Shabazz
Napier. We've seen Shane Larkin. He had a run with the University of Miami. He got drafted in the first round, even though he was still undersized and not as athletic. So we've seen people do that and it doesn't work. We've also seen Kemba Walkers of the world that really kind of burst onto the scene. Jalen Brunson. Guys like that kind of burst onto the scene in the March Madness era. So what I want to know is, do you think it's a good test for the NBA?
No.
If you were evaluating talent, would you use it?
Nope. Actually, maybe. Because I was watching that Kentucky versus Oakland game. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there, it's like, I already know what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be mad at John Calipari. What can he do? You got this white dude.
He could try coaching.
Going from the top of the how can I coach more than this? The motherfucker going from the top of the key, going across the arc, taking a screen, going to the other side of the court and pulling up. They ran one play. I can't tell you. I went to boxing one and y'all still can't guard it. What am I supposed to do? Watching it, March Madness made me think, hey man, they need to make college players stay in the league for 2 years. They got to stay for 2 years because they don't know how to play basketball. Like these freshmen, literally, I don't care how hard the moment or the pressure of the moment is. If a team is calling one play the whole game, you let somebody shoot 20 threes and they made 10 of them, and all 20 of his threes that he took was the exact same play. How do you not go over that screen? How do you not cut him off? How do you not bump him off of his route? How does he keep catching the ball and shooting a clear-looking shot? I don't care if it's contested. You can be up on him. It's not contested if your hand ain't in his face. He shouldn't even have touched the ball. You're the most athletic team. How are all these teams with all these freshmen that going to go lotteries, the most athletic players on the court, but they don't know how to go over a screen?
I mean, Kentuckyans got to look at defense all year.
Horrible. I don't care. I don't care. It tells me that you can be as athletic as you want, and it looks amazing as a scout, but do you know how to play basketball? Do you sit there and watch LeBron and JJ Redick's podcast because you don't know how to play basketball, and it's disgusting.
It's I'm on the page where I think it is a good test for the NBA. I just think what a lot of people use, they use the wrong things. So
Booker came off the bench. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander came off the bench in college.
What I want to see is composure through March Madness, right? You
I get
can't
that, I get
use
that.
it. You can't use it in like just throw a bunch of other things that definitely matter in terms of just like measuring athleticism
I
and
see what you're saying.
obviously height, weight, all that. Like all that stuff are things you have to consider, right? But like think about like a guy like even Shane Larkin. Shane Larkin now got overdrafted because
he
of
could
his
handle the
heroics,
moment.
but he did last in the NBA for a while. I think that's what people should be able to see from March Madness because he played with composure the entire time. Kentucky, zero composure, right?
Like Shepard,
You
he
see a
was
guy
gonna be a
killing you.
lottery pick. That man gonna be at the end of the first round now. You can shoot, but I don't trust you now to make the shot in the big moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I pay attention to stuff like that. Like if you
You
can't
can't go
handle
1
March
for
Madness
9 in
pressure,
the first
I'm
round.
I'm not kicking you the ball in a 7-game series. Then
Yeah,
if
you went
can't-
1
if
for
you
9 against Oakland.
Like you can't tell me you can,
Man.
especially in games like that. That tells me a whole lot about those Kentucky players, right? What was one of those other bigger upsets? Oh shoot,
Which
who was I
one?
watching? Who was I watching?
Purdue.
Um,
Yale versus Auburn. I picked
Yale
that
versus
one.
Auburn. That's another. That's not the one. I'm blanking on who it
Just
was.
stupid mistakes.
But basically, you see teams that like
South
you
Carolina,
can tell they're
Oregon.
scared. Well, Oregon mollywopped them.
Oregon's
I don't think
good
that's
though.
gonna happen,
That was a bad
Dana
matchup.
Altman's a great coach, so I expected them to win that game. I got them winning again today.
Kansas versus Sanford.
But
No.
don't get
Which
me
one?
started on that game. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, you can just see teams and players that are just not ready for the moment, right? You can tell that like they got a lead, right? They got like a 10-point lead. It was a Dayton game actually, Dayton's first win, so it wasn't an upset, but it was their first.
They were
win.
down by like 17 points.
17 points like 5.5 minutes ago, and the other team just was terrified to play basketball. I wouldn't want anybody on that team.
Nope.
I just wouldn't want them because like you are terrified to play basketball, right? Like Dayton just walked them down, remained composed, right? Like this.
They do have an NBA player on this team, but still, damn, they should not have won that game.
He wasn't doing a whole lot in that game until
No,
the very
he
end,
didn't do
he started
anything.
fouling. Like he started getting
exactly.
his but yeah, Deron Holmes, he's kind of keen a little bit of a mini comeback now, right before halftime. But like things like that, I pay attention to because I just, can you beat a team in January when it's 1 of 30? I don't care. Right, like obviously your body of work for the college season matters, right? Like I'm not going to draft somebody that's like a good example. Jamal Mashburn Jr. averaged like 9 points a game. Then he had like a nice run in their tournament before they got waxed yesterday. That 9 points per game means something to me, right? Like you're just not quite there yet.
And then you know how people act like, oh, it's just one game. Yeah, but so is a game 7. That's how you should look at it as. It's not a 7-game series. It's a game 7.
And
game 7. That's what it is.
You just watch the games, right? Watch an NBA playoff game, even if it's game 1. Watch a March Madness game. They look the same. Possessions
Intensity
matter more.
Level.
Intensity.
The first 3 minutes of the game is trash because everybody nervous and throwing up bricks.
It's like one of those runs. They're very similar. Like you have to be able to handle all that. Like you have to be able to handle
the runs.
Oh, a team makes a run, they go up by 10-12. You can't panic, right? Like some of these teams, like they all of a sudden like can't even get the ball across half court. It's like, good God, like I don't want that point guard, right? Like I want the guy that when a run's happening, he's the guy you kick it to make a shot to end the run, right? Like, that's the guy that I want. And you just look for those types of things. I think composure.
That's fair. That's a good point.
The ability to play in good moments, coupled with everything else, then you can use March Madness.
You're right, because I don't think the NBA cares about if you know how to play basketball.
It's just one of the things that's like
you're 19, 20 years old. I can teach you how to play basketball.
Yeah, you can still teach them how to do. Like now,
that's what it seems like.
Some of it depends on if you're a 4-year player, right? Then I need the kind of basketball awareness to be higher.
That's different. If you're Josh Hart, I'm gonna need you to be good when you come in the league,
or just know how to play, right? Like know how to play, know how to be a role player, right? We see that with Jaime this year, right? He's been a good role player for the Heat because he played for 4 years, knows how to play. Doesn't
talking
do too
about
much.
older players, and I know this is kind of off subject, but I heard this. I didn't think about it. I probably could have came up with this with myself, but I heard this on NBA radio, and I was like, that's why the Knicks are good. They could be a scary good team in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and DiVincenzo. all played together on a national championship team.
Mm-hmm.
So they got that chemistry like that. That's why it make all the sense.
Well,
why
and
they play
if you
good
just
without.
think, if you think about those,
I was like, I didn't make
players,
sense. They're all good, 3 solid good players. You got maybe a borderline star, and then you got 2
I don't think
really
it's borderline
good
anymore.
players.
I don't think it's borderline. Jalen Brunson is a star.
Okay.
I think he's a star.
I give him that. You got a star and 2 really good players, and they all know how to play together because they've been playing together forever. It's so smart, and you can see it's working because they don't care. Because they don't care about who gets what. They know Brunson gonna take the shots, and they don't care about their role because they all played together before. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that college aspect. Hey, we all gonna eat.
Yeah,
it's working.
So I want to transition a little bit. So we're let's talk about now the G League team. That is no more. This will be their last season. They're 2-28. They're not competing. You know, again, these are 18-year-olds.
Stop with the hate, bro. It's not about competing. It's about development. Don't hate. Don't hate.
No, I'm not saying. So the way I want to pose this is: do you think this is good or bad for those players? How am I? It's getting shut
down. You sensationalized your headline. Yes, you did. The G League Unite, who can't compete, have disbanded.
That's the reason they're citing is why they're not going to renew.
That's not why. That's not what Adam Silver said.
That's what every other person that is speaking about
Adam Silver said that the NIL contributed to them shutting down. Why would a G League player?
Oh, right.
Why would I go in college to get 100,000 to 500,000 when I can be a top recruit, go to college and make $1 million or $2 million?
Right, but I think the point he's getting at is because it's going to take away the top end talent, and they already are 2-28. Like I'm just taking this one.
But I agree.
Step
I don't
further.
care, but I don't think the record matters. I think it's about the development. It's the G League started in 2022, and they've had 10 people drafted in the league already in 2 years.
It's been
no,
a lot for 4 years.
G League started in 2020. Sorry, 2020. So it's been 4 years.
Nonetheless, what I want to know, Joe, is do you think this is good or bad? Do you think this is good or bad for the prospects? Like, do you think the college experience and playing in college is a better way to prepare for the NBA, or do you like the G League? I'm only gonna throw this out there. Thompson Bros have not been fantastic. Scoot has not been fantastic.
I think they should have kept it.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's because of the G League. I'm just asking the question: which one do you, if you were evaluating talent, which one would you care more about? Like,
and the Thompsons actually did not go to G League, right? They actually played for that team out in Atlanta. They went to that basketball academy out in Atlanta.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
But I think they should have kept it. I think players still would have took it. If I can still, I can still make $1 million or $2 million if I go to college, but I would still rather play against grown men and develop my talents against people where I can spend. I don't have to go to class. All I can do is focus on my game. I think they should have kept it. I understand why they got rid of it because they were probably losing money because that top end talent, like you said, I'm going to college. They're gonna pay me $2.3 million. I'm out of here, right? I'm out of here. But I think they should have kept it because some people would have came. They probably wouldn't have been. They probably have been. I think actually they should have kept it because you're not going to get that top end talent, but you're going to get that next tier hard working talent. And that's what NBA teams really want. You may not get those first round picks. It may not be as glamorous. You may get a late first round pick or a second round pick, but they're gonna have impact like this because they're hard working, and you're gonna get those type of guys. So I thought they should have kept it, but I can understand. Hey, we're losing money. We trying to pump money into the WNBA, the NIL situation. They losing. It's really not a good look. People really want to come and lose all the time.
I think that's part of the issue, though, Joe. Like, when it's hard to develop. It's hard to develop when you're losing that much. Like, losing habits are not really good things. I don't know.
Then you got to set that mentality, though. You have to set that mentality, though.
I just think they could have maybe tweaked some things. You know, like, I just don't know how you do it, right? Because the G League is affiliated with all the NBA teams. Like, it's not like if they come play for the Sioux City Fall team, whatever, right? Like, those guys aren't just going to let this young guy, even if he's not good enough yet, like, they're not just going to let him play.
Exactly.
All those guys are fighting for positions in the NBA. They almost needed to be able to like make like their own pool of teams just from like that area
like
of
4 to 8
players.
teams. They needed like 4 to 8
so
teams.
they could play each other more and then maybe they integrate them at the end of the season or like an in-season tournament type thing where they compete.
But that's
against the
that
other
academy in
G League
Atlanta
teams.
is. That's what that academy in Atlanta is, where the Thompson twins came from.
Right,
That's all
but
that
it's not
is.
big enough. I'm just saying they needed a
I see what you-
concept, I think, like that to where it has the notoriety of the NBA. You're getting NBA type coaches.
Add international team players in it and shit to fill up the rosters.
Yeah, just something.
You're
They
right,
need
something.
they need more teams where they can at least have some games against each other and can be measured against each other versus getting measured, like you said, against grown men who are fighting for their lives in professional basketball.
Right. Like
I'm
you
sorry,
do have people in the
a
G
team
League
of
that are
18-year-olds is
21.
just not gonna. They're not gonna compete
Yeah.
with them. They're just
There's
not.
30-year-old men in the freaking G League. Like some grown ass men trying to eat.
Yeah, he's trying to get a contract. He's trying to get a
Yeah.
10-day. Like, I mean, like what people don't understand is like a lot of those guys in the G League. Like, take a role player in the NBA, right? Like a bottom of the bench role player in the NBA. You put him in the G League, he can go drop 40
Yep.
easily. Like I've seen, obviously this is a Heat thing because I see it more. But like Jamal Cain, he's played in a handful of games for the Heat in his career last 2 years. When he goes down on his two-way to the G League, he drops 40. 99% of people that'll ever see this clip don't know who the fuck Jamal Cain is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes down there, he'll drop 40, and that's a bottom of the bench player in the NBA. So, like, that's how good those guys are. And you're expecting these guys who are just coming from playing high schoolers, they're all of a sudden going to get dumped into that and expected to compete.
Good luck.
Yeah, a Scoot Henderson can put up some numbers, but as a whole team, that's not teaching Scoot how to play. Right? That didn't teach Scoot how to play.
You're right. That's teaching Scoot how to put up shots.
Yeah, like, it's just not. I just
ball.
don't think it's a good environment where, at
That's
least in the
fair.
NCAA, even if
That's
it's
fair.
mid-major versus high major, right? Like they're all in the same kind of
At
category.
least your coach should be trying to teach you some shit every day.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end, like, look, we're all like they're all
I feel what you're
competitive
saying.
people, right? Like you want to win, and it's like at the end of I know if
No
I pass
matter
this
what-
motherfucker, he's not gonna.
No matter how good you are in college basketball, you're not taking over 20 shots in a game. You may get
Like,
12 to 15.
very rarely, right? Like very
You may
rarely
get
will
12
someone
to
take
15
over.
shots. There's
Yeah.
going to be nights where you're going to only get 8 shots. You're going to be like, I'm the best player on the team, and I only took 8 shots. That's college basketball.
Yeah. Now I am not here trying to promote college basketball. Fuck the NCAA. I think it's
Can't
one of the
do it.
most corrupt organizations out there. The basketball right now is terrible, but
So
I
bad.
still think it's better for
The
the
refereeing
players.
is bad, though, too. Shit. Oh,
It's all
my
bad.
God.
It's all bad.
It's awful.
This is a slight tangent, but this is why I get so irritated. I like college. Like, again, now if you're just like a casual fan, and I'm not talking about you.
You
I'm
know
talking
why
about
it
people
is,
that
Will? You know why it
claim-
is?
I know exactly why it is.
They like players like you.
No, that's what it's
You know?
racist.
You got
Like, they don't like
the
seeing a
Matthew
bunch of black men.
Dellavedovas.
Yeah, they don't like seeing a bunch of black men take ownership of their craft, and yeah. That's just more of a team game. No, it's not.
If you say anything, if you say people who like college basketball, they say the pageantry and the passion. So in other words, you like lesser quality basketball because they try harder. Okay.
And no, they don't. I am so sick of
I'm sorry
this
to say that.
bullshit.
You
I'm
think
so
people
sick
who
of
play
NBA
for
players
free
don't
try
care.
harder than people who get paid millions of dollars to play? I don't understand that. If I play really hard, I can make an extra $10 million. Or if I play really hard, I get notoriety on campus. I can get all the bitches I want.
They already
I'm
get
gonna
all the
take-
goddamn bitches they
Yeah,
want.
exactly. That's my point. I'm
That's
gonna play hard to get the extra 10 million
Cannot stand hearing that.
because it doesn't make sense.
It's the NBA. They don't really care. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
You tell me,
Yes,
you tell
a
me that
random
guy
game in
who
February for a player
Exactly.
that's hurt or hurting, maybe not injured, but he's hurting. Yeah, he might take a play or two off. He might.
or that
Will they
guy
get
who already
completely
has a
locked in
lawyer
every single
job.
night. But Joe, hear me out. They might not be fully locked in every single game, right? Tell me how a team like Duke loses to a team like, I don't know, Davidson.
Exactly.
You tell me they were locked all the way the fuck in? No, they
Yeah,
weren't.
exactly.
They were looking past
weren't.
them.
No, they weren't.
So I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
he's
hear all
not-
that. They lock in and check out just like the NBA teams do. There's trap games in college, and they only play 30 games.
I've been
Right.
20 before. That's what I was saying. I always tell people, don't ever bet your money on a college student. His girl could have broke up with him the night before. You don't know what happened.
Bro, look.
Don't
We
trust
both-
a college
we both-
student.
we both went to SLU
He could
when
have failed
SLU
a
was
math
actually-
test.
We
See.
both went to SLU when SLU was like a good team, right? I'm not gonna name
Mhm.
names, right? There was times night
Yeah.
before a game, basketball players were our apartment drinking, right?
And you know what we was doing? We was blacking out in that bitch.
We was getting fucked up, right? Or maybe it wasn't the night before, but it was 2 nights before.
Like, what you doing here, bro? Oh, okay. You got the scooter. Okay, you about to take some pictures with you. Okay, I got you.
It's like, come
I
on.
got you.
Come on.
I
Like,
got you. Don't take all the bad ones, bro.
leave some for us. No, it's all good. Yeah. I hate the whole. I prefer. Okay. If you prefer it because you went to college and your college team is really good and you like it because you don't have like a strong affinity for an NBA team, I'll hear that. That's fine. I get that. You're more personally connected to it. But don't try and sell me on the basketball quality.
You just don't like niggas. Just say what it is. I'll say it also. You don't like niggas, huh? Okay. You voted for Trump, huh? Okay. I got you. Okay. I knew you like college basketball. I understand. You like college football more too, don't you? You don't watch the NFL, huh?
So, yeah,
you don't watch the NFL because
Stan
Stan Kroenke left, but we had the top 3 market in the NFL playoffs. Okay, I got you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're a Duke fan. You're a Kentucky fan, huh? You like one of them, huh?
Okay.
Nonetheless, let's get back on track. Last topic before we choose love or violence. Top 5, Joe. I need the top 5
Top 5
right now. Top 5.
Top 5 right. Oh, see, you keep changing it up. 2 weeks ago, it was top 5 to win the championship. Now it's top 5 right now.
Top 5 right now to win the championship.
Okay. 5-1. I'll go 5 first. I'll go 5 first. I'm putting the Milwaukee Bucks 5. I like what I've seen a lot out of Damian Lillard since Giannis been hurt. Bobby Portis, 20 points. If I can get that out of you consistently, that's nice. Like, because Chris Middleton ain't showing up. But if Bobby Portis can do that, I like that. So I got them 5 right now. 4, I know we talked about it earlier. The Clippers. I know they've been sliding lately, but I like the Clippers a lot. They got the potential. Russell Westbrook don't come back. I think they'll have that tenacity. I still think they're a good team. They got a lot of scoring. They'll be fine. 3, I'm going to take the Celtics. I like those Celtics a lot. Still, obviously, they got some of the best offense we've seen in NBA history. Still a little question mark with the coaching and stuff, but right now, you got to give them their respect. 2nd, I'm putting OKC. Hey, my life is consistent, and I'm consistently put them up there until somebody knock off the Nuggets. And that's why I got the Nuggets number 1, because Jokic is that dude. Jamal Murray, maybe the most underrated point guard in the league. I don't know why people don't put respect on this man's name. He is an all-star, superstar.
Does he deserve to be in the best point guard conversation? Does he deserve to be in that conversation?
Absolutely. Maybe not because he don't have consistent high-level assists, but the way he and Jokic had attacked that pick and roll, I think you got to put him up there. He probably could have 10 assists a night if it wasn't for Jokic, but the way he navigates that pick and roll with Jokic, you got to put him up there as the point guard. And he's proven to be clutch in clutch situations. So you got to put the Nuggets number 1 until anybody knock them off.
Just a real quick aside before I get into my top 5. I just want to say I think the Nuggets are such a good example of why, everyone talks about like, oh, well, who's going to be the next star? Who can you go acquire? Can you trade for Dame? Can you trade for whoever the next disgruntled star is, right? And I say this as a fan of a team that loves to trade for some disgruntled stars, right? But drafting your own players and having them come up together like the Nuggets have had with Jokic and Murray, there's just so many benefits to doing that. Like, you never have, like, you rarely have the role disparity, like where people can't accept their role or don't know what their role is on that team because they came up together. They know, like they've been practicing together for years, right? And I feel like that's why you don't see an ego with Jamal Murray because look, that's Jokic.
Right.
Yo.
And you can't underestimate Michael Porter Jr.
Again, but like
probably the best 3-point shooter in the league right now, man. It's insane. And what the Nuggets, I said probably.
Imagine him though, like a team that like acquires him, right? He's gonna then walk into a new situation. Well, you know what type of ego Michael Porter Jr. can have.
2 or a 1. Oh my God.
Yes, he's gonna want to go in there and prove himself, right? Like we saw, it took a long time just for Terry Rozier when he got traded to the Heat. Like, it took him a while to kind of get used to, like, okay, how do I kind of fit in and get my buckets? Now, again, he luckily went to a team where the best player doesn't actually give a fuck about shooting.
True.
Somehow. But she would care a little more. Like last night, I don't know if Jimmy took a shot in the first quarter.
Only in the playoffs.
Yeah. But
take 28 to 32.
The only example I can really think of people that were drafted by the same organization that we've seen like an issue with is the Celtics. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Mhm.
It took a while for them.
That's
And I
fair.
think because they were legitimately like
both
so close for a little bit, like in terms of
and
like
high draft
durability.
picks.
Yeah, both third overall picks, right? Like, so that's like the only example I can really think of. Like, think about like the Bucks, right? Middleton was there first. Giannis got drafted. It became real fucking clear. Giannis is that guy, but then Giannis also didn't care about letting Middleton get his shots off in the fourth quarter to close it out. Like I feel like they just like know each
That's a
other,
good point.
right? Like even the Pelicans, right? They haven't had as many issues, partly because I think BI was already there when Zion got drafted. It all just feels much more natural to me.
And one before you go, another thing about the Nuggets. Okay, you look at all the people I named. You got the Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George. They do the same thing. You look at the Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, pretty much do the same thing. OKC, there's a lot of players on the team. They all do different stuff. Shea Gilgeous does something different. Chet Holmgren does something different. Jalen Williams does something different. They all do something different. You look at the Nuggets. Murray does something
they're all
different.
roles.
Jokic does something
right.
different. MP, Michael Porter Jr. does something different. And then you look at teams like the Hawks. They got too many guards. You look at the Phoenix Suns. They got too many people that do the same stuff. You look at the Lakers. They got too many players that do the same stuff. They don't have enough diversity on their roster to say they can compete for a championship. I think that teams need to look at the Nuggets and OKC and say, hey, we got a guy that's dominant at this thing. We got a guy that's dominant at this thing. We got a guy that's dominant at this thing. And now we can build a roster together. It's not so much we need the most talented big three. We need a complementary roster because everybody today is so fucking talented. You don't need fucking 2-3 superstars to win. You don't need the Miami Heat big three anymore to win in the NBA. You need guys who excel in their role.
People also just don't appreciate the correct things about those teams that have come together like that. They don't appreciate the right things with what made those teams actually successful, right? You talk about the Miami Heat big three with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, right? There's a little bit of play style clash between LeBron and Wade, but both of them are very unselfish players, and Wayne Wade was ultimately willing to sacrifice, his production on the ball, right? That doesn't always happen. Like you look at the Brooklyn Nets, clusterfuck of personalities there, all needed the ball, and it just never really worked, right? Yeah.
Besides KD don't do the same thing. I'll take that. You can't put that on KD.
KD does it. KD
you can plug in anywhere.
Player. He's the easiest superstar player to play with. But Kyrie and Harden, not a good match, right? Even like the Celtics that the Heat kind of formed to go beat, right? Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen. KG and Ray Allen took steps back in their game because they knew that the best way for them to win was for Rondo and Paul Pierce to have the ball in their hands a lot, and they would just play off of them, right? Like, those are the things. You have to find that quality in superstars when you're molding them all together. I still think Phoenix has a good shot if they can just all stay healthy, because I do think those players can all play together, but it's just like, maybe it's next year when they can kind of fill out the roster a little better. Who knows? But anyways, long way to get to my top 5. So my 5th is going to be the Pelicans. They were both of our dark horses last week, and I am upping them into my top 5. I like the way
I had them, but the Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm trusting he's going to come back and still be fine. And honestly, seeing McCollum be able to step up, albeit just one game so far, but seeing him be able to rise his play, that gives me even more confidence for like a game in the playoffs where maybe BI doesn't have it going on, or Zion doesn't have it going on. He can step in and kind of provide that scoring if they need it. Number 4,
Urkel.
I'm going to go – man, this is tough. 4 is tough. I'll go Bucks. I'll put the Bucks in there. Like,
don't disrespect the Bucks, dog. Dame has been balling the last 7 games.
He has. Like a lot of those have been without Giannis, and it's like I need to see them consistently do it together. Like I need to see them consistently do it together. Like I know Dame can be a guy when he's by himself. I need to see him do it more together. Nonetheless, it's a lot of talent.
Bobby Portis?
I like Bobby. I love Bobby. Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is a Heatle in some other lifetime. Like he fits
for
my eye for a player that I love.
I just don't know if he's gonna be able to do that in the playoffs. He may have 1 or 2 games,
but that's all you really need though from that role. Like you only really need him if he gives you 1 or 2. That's probably 2 wins, right?
And Jay Crowder.
And then Giannis and Dame carry you the other ones, right? Like, so I like them. It's maybe starting to gel. Maybe 3. I'm going to go Boston. I think we agree there. 3 with Boston. I still don't trust them, but I mean they've got the best record in the NBA by a lot. I got to put some respect on their name as much as I hate to. Jaylen Brown, even finishing with his left hand a little bit lately. Maybe he actually did some work there. I still expect him to be a tragedy in the fucking playoffs, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna give him some credit. They have gone to 3 or 4 Eastern Conference. They've gone to 3 or 4 Eastern Conference Finals, so they're good. Despite all the bullshit, they got my boy Drew Holiday now, so I'll give him a little love. And then my top 3 are the same as yours. I got OKC 2, love them. Just nothing can compete with the Nuggets. Now that they're locked in and seem to really care, it's about to get ugly. It's going to be ugly in the West. I don't see a team stopping.
If they healthy, it's over.
Yeah, if they're healthy, I just really can't see a team stopping them. They're fucking tough, man. They're fucking tough.
They're too good.
All right, Joe. You know how we end the show. We choose love. We choose violence. What you got?
I'm not drinking sake, but the Japanese over there tripping. I'm bringing hate. I'm tired of the media acting like this is not a big story with Ohtani. Motherfucker, Will, I've known you
Talk to me.
2007, maybe?
Longer
Middle
than that.
school?
Yeah, 05?
Oh, yeah. I'm not loaning you $4,500. So you think I'm gonna loan you $4.5 million? Come on, bro. I'm tired of people acting like this is not a big story. First, Ohtani's interpreter said, "Oh, yeah, he was alone. I was gambling on everything but baseball. It was a loan." And they got multiple wire transfers of $500,000 with Ohtani's name on it. Then the next day, the interpreter goes, "Oh no, I lied. I actually stole all of it." Yeah, I ain't stupid. And then you release it the Thursday of March Madness, so everybody's focusing on the Cinderella teams. The weekend go by. They're in South Korea.
Season game in fucking Korea.
Look, and it happened last year. And the interpreter was in South Korea in the bullpen. If you stole $4.5 million from me and I knew about it last year, you think I'm hanging out with your ass again? Come on, bro. Y'all lying.
You think we're friends?
You lying.
You think we're friends? Stole money from
you think we ever gonna be friends again? Come on. Somebody lying. And come on, bro. You tell me right now, if it was Willie Jackson, this wouldn't be a story. It's because it's Ohtani. It's the biggest name. And they trying to say their face because they can't have a Pete Rose and an Ohtani. I believe that they weren't betting on baseball, but they was betting illegally in California. Yasiel Puig damn near went to jail over the exact same sporting book over 4 years ago, and y'all ate his ass up talking about how a horrible human being he was when he was dirt poor, came from Cuba, and y'all pissed off because he gained 20 pounds because he ain't ever seen a grocery store. But Ohtani ain't getting no fucking flack at all. Y'all acting like it's not a story. Y'all some bullshit media. If y'all don't think this is a real story, this nigga was betting and he bet $4.5 million to an illegal sporting bet book, and y'all tell me this is not a huge story. Get the fuck out
Joe,
of here.
let me take this even further. I've got my own violence that I'm gonna choose. I thought about this one, but then there was some basketball shit that happened that I needed to get violent about. But 2 other things that I want to mention here. First, here's the thing why you can't buy any of this, because you have to you would have to buy that Ohtani is just like the most naive, oblivious person in the fucking world for this to happen. You know why I know he's not? Because of the complicated ass way he just structured his goddamn contract with the Dodgers. This man knows exactly what his money is fucking doing, right?
Great point.
So
great point.
I'm not buying any type of some poor, like, I feel like you're trying to do this.
You got taken advantage of.
This Asian immigrant that was just taking it. No. They know that he's got way too many people involved in all of his finances for this to just slip through the cracks. Absolutely not. Fuck him. Secondly, Honestly, I don't care that he was gambling. I really don't.
I don't
But
either.
just the way that
I
it's
don't
being
either.
covered, I'm right with you.
That's
The way
what I'm
it's being covered
saying.
is bullshit. Secondly, you know what baseball's going to do, right? You know he's not going to get suspended. They're going to do Ohtani exactly like they did Sosa, Bonds, McGuire. They're going to look the other way right now because we need his celebrity. We need him to push ticket sales and revenue and all this.
10 years
And then
down
if there
the line.
becomes a sports gambling issue run amok amongst professional sports, then they're going to vilify him once he's not relevant to their sport anymore. That's exactly what's going to fucking happen, right?
Yep.
They're going to do him the exact same way that the steroid players. They're going to pin it on 3 or 4 players. Oh my God, bad. Shame on you, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, blah. No. Fuck all that. Fuck the way this is being covered. And again, then the writers will get on their high horse when it's time to vote for the Hall of Fame. No, I can't put him in the Hall of Fame because he gambled that
He didn't
one
vote
time.
on
Blah,
baseball,
blah, blah,
though,
blah, blah,
but
blah.
he illegally bet. Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna love writing about him now, get their little stories off, get their clicks off, get their revenue, and then try and come back later and right or wrong. It's like, no, fuck you guys. Fuck you, baseball media. Jeff Passan's the only one that has an ounce of credibility. He called out this bullshit immediately.
It's terrible.
And it's such bullshit. Because you're right. Yasiel Puig was getting killed for
the exact same thing. With the exact same person. It's ridiculous. The exact same illegal sporting book in California. It's ridiculous. The exact
same goddamn team, too. The goddamn Dodgers. And you saw everyone loved Puig until Puig's play started to fall off a little bit. Then it was real easy to just dump on him.
And you know why everybody's dumping it on the rug? Because the CEO of MGM Grand Casino in Vegas was involved too, because he knew it was an illegal sporting book in California, but he let that man keep placing bets anyway. So this is a whole thing that's tied in with multiple former athletes and everything, but they ain't gonna talk about it because they know it's a big deal. And they know as soon as people have an inkling that the sports are fake, they're going to stop. As soon as anybody has an inkling that it's fake,
all the dollars that are pouring in from all the sports betting partners, yeah, they can't have it go bad this quickly. They
this
can't have
soon.
it go,
Exactly. And it's fucking ridiculous.
All right. That was a good one, Joe. Good one, Joe. I'm choosing violence on the SEC commissioner of the NCAA.
Sankey?
Not the government. Not
Greg
the government.
Sankey?
This motherfucker wants to come out here and talk about we need more Power 5. We need to either enlarge the team or get rid of the automatic bids because all these mid-majors and low-major teams, they don't really deserve to be in there at the cost of all these, Power 5 conferences.
I agree.
You said all that shit, and your bitch-ass conference is getting their ass mollywopped in the first fucking round of the NCAA tournament. I don't want to hear that shit from you. Kentucky, Florida, Auburn.
South Carolina.
South Carolina getting scraped by an 11 seed. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? The SEC started with like 8 teams, 6 teams, whatever, 7 teams. No, they had way more than that because Tennessee, A&M, Alabama, right? That's 3. That's the 3 that won. Then they had all those motherfuckers that took the goddamn L's. So they were like 3 and 4, 3 and 5.
They had 8 teams. They had like 7, 8 teams. And yeah.
Only 3 make it to the first round. Guess what? A10, who wasn't even a good A10 year, 2-0 in the first fucking round. Get the fuck out of here. The mid-majors make the fucking NCAA tournament.
They do. They really do.
They make the magic.
That's
you
fair.
Take those teams out, it doesn't have this allure. Teams like VCU back in the day when they went on their run, or Gonzaga when they first started going on their run, George Mason going on their run. Those are the teams that make it fun and make people care about it. If it was just all these Power 5 conferences, no one would care. We can just shrink that bitch to 12 if that's what you want to do. If you just want Power 5 schools in there, just shrink the bitch to 12 then. Let's eliminate all the bullshit. We don't need a 6 seed South Carolina, this fucking garbage. We don't need them. I don't need them. Just give me, the top teams, the top conferences. Just do it like football.
So you want Indiana State in that bitch?
Yes. Hey, Sure. Hey, Coach Schurz. Hey, buddy.
No.
Welcome to SLU. Welcome to SLU. Yes. Yes. Welcome to SLU.
Nope. I'm all Blake Ahern, but it's not gonna happen. I'm all Blake Ahern.
I like Ahern. I don't think he's quite ready for that gig yet. I don't think he's quite ready for that gig.
That gig, the man had Greg Popovich, R.C. Buford, Billy Donovan, all call on his behalf, and them motherfuckers won't even give him a meeting. He got a 45-page document telling you exactly how he's going to use
I'm not saying he's a good. He's right now. He's with the Grizzlies, right?
Yes, he's willing to take a pay cut, and you can see how he groomed Ja Morant. He coached 2 times.
I'm not saying he's not a good
coach of the year in the G League, and he played overseas. This man got connections on all 4 levels, and they won't get him in a conversation.
I don't want him for SLU. I want somebody who's going to be able to come to SLU and stay for a while.
He wants to. That's what he wants.
It sounds nice. It sounds nice.
I think he wants it. It's a downgrade. He could be the NBA coach in 2 years, but instead
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's what he. I mean, hey, look. If he wants to say he wants to go to SLU and be a SLU for 20 years, and he actually wants shirts 20 years.
So you think Indiana State can compete in the A10? Is what you're telling me? That's all he's gonna do is bring his players.
I think they can compete in the A10.
Okay.
I think he can get better players if he goes to SLU.
But he's not going to get better players his first year. All he's going to do is bring his players that he has over.
Joe, ain't nothing getting worse than what SLU was this year. Ain't nothing getting worse than this bullshit.
Avila is going to make at least $600,000, and SLU is not going to pay him with that. So he's not going to probably end up coming. He's probably going to go somewhere else. I'm just saying.
We got players. We just need a couple bigs. That's all. Ahern, I like Ahern. I just feel like I feel like Ahern's an NBA coach.
He is an NBA coach.
Honest to God, I feel like he's an NBA coach.
The fact that, but sometimes when you got somebody with that,
again, he's from the crib. He's from the cribs. He's from St. Louis. Like, hey,
look, it's either I'm gonna tell you right now. It's gonna be Shirts. It's gonna be Sprinkle from Utah State, or it's gonna be Bryce Drew. No, or it's going to be Bryce Drew from Grand Canyon.
Absolutely not. No. I am so out on Bryce Drew.
That's the top 3. I'm telling you right now.
I know. Look, from what I've heard, Shirts already has it. They just need to lose in the NIT, and then he's going to be announced as the head coach.
That's 100% correct. That's 100% correct.
But
I'll
touch on the guy from Grand Canyon. He's doing a great job over there. But you want to talk about needing a budget? I mean, he's getting
he has billionaires over there.
Yeah, he's got Power 5 conference money.
He got billionaires over there.
You're not going to have that.
We got 2 or 3 people in SLU.
Yeah, you're not going to have that here. So the reason why I like Shirts is because he comes from an environment where he's making it work with probably lesser resources.
Indiana State, and then he wins 20, 23 games with SLU. He's leaving.
Well, we'll see.
He's leaving. Gibson Jimerson's leaving.
Yeah.
St. John's already called him. Mizzou has called him. Sincere Parker's leaving. He's already in the portal.
That's fine.
So you're probably going to have Medley. Medley may leave. So you're most likely going to have Hughes, Ezeruro, maybe, the Chinese kid. And that's about it right now. That's all you got.
I would say.
And then Indiana State. And then the Indiana State players.
I would say there's a likelihood once the coach gets named that SLU can retain some of Sincere. I feel like is gone. I think Sincere is gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
If
you lose Corey Tate, it's over. If you lose Corey Tate, it's over. He's the assistant coach. He's the interim coach right now.
He's been retained. He has been retained right now.
He's the interim coach right now, but he does all the recruiting. There's no Yuri Collins. There's no Sincere Parker.
We already lost the main recruiter.
Coach
Nunez. Coach Nunez was the real recruiter. And then he left before this past season, and you saw what happened already.
I'm telling you he wasn't.
No, yes, he was. Yes, he was. I have that on very good authority.
I'm telling you that is Corey Tate.
I'm not saying Corey Tate is not a good recruiter.
No, I'm telling you he is the recruiter. And then when Nunez left, they was okay with retaining what's the other guy?
I'm just saying. You saw the fall off.
There wasn't no fall off. The fall off, I'll tell you the fall off. They players, and then yes, they did. No, you had players, and Travis Ford went to the NIL program, and they was like, "Oh, we don't have that." Like they had a player, and they was gonna give him $400,000, and then right before the season started, he said, "I want a car."
Players.
He was like, "I want a car," and they was like, "Oh, we can't do that." A
Hey,
guy
we had
that plays for
multiple
Kansas
players
right
that fell through
now.
the crack because
A
Travis
guy
Ford
that
didn't
plays
want to
for
give him the
Kansas
money.
right now, we lost. A guy from that plays for Mizzou right
Yes,
now, we lost.
there's like
We lost
three.
players
There's like
because we couldn't
two
afford it.
bigs that we needed because you saw our fucking big
A
situation.
guy, yes.
Two bigs that we lost because Travis Ford didn't want to open up the pocketbooks for anybody.
No, it's not
And
Travis Ford's fault though. It's not Travis Ford's fault. You got to think about the new program, the new building that they just opened. So they spent hella money on that new building. The I forget what the Lachlan Center. They spent. They have 3 donors. They have 3 donors. You can't go to that pocket so much. They literally went situations where players like I want 200,000, and
you see what
Travis Ford was
whatever
like,
Travis Ford has on Slew. You see how long he got to last by not producing shit. If he asked, he could get it.
No, we can't. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you that
bad.
No, that's not true. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you that right now. They was like, we ain't doing that. We ain't got it. He was like, I need NIL money. They was like, we ain't got it.
Travis Ford could have gotten more money if he needed to. Maybe not from those 3. I'm not saying those 3.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because I know from the man's mouth himself. He said, my next job already got 3 billionaire backers who gonna give me NIL money. So he was saving his backers. Absolutely 1,000%. He has people he already knows who to go to at his next job. He's probably gonna end up at Drake and he'll have some donors with him.
All right.
And Corey Tate may end up in
I don't think people listen as far as Slew talk. So
I don't care.
I'm gonna wrap 3 into possible right here.
I was gonna talk to you about Slew.